Back in March of 2017, a mysterious account named Alex Rodman Gold started making some cryptic tweets talking about a magic gem that can send out frequencies that appear as tweets on Twitter. Why did this start? Well, that's what I'm going to be discussing in this video. The story of this ARG is actually pretty interesting and one I had a hand in myself, so let's talk about it. But first, I noticed that only 0.5% of people who watch my videos are subscribed. That's too low, so please, if you enjoy the video, subscribe. It's 100% free, and you can always unsubscribe at a later date if you don't like my videos. Anyway, on with the video. You've probably never heard of Spagoot's Realms, or even Spagoots for that matter, but you've most likely heard of the people who are a part of that group. Penny Parker, creator of real-time fandom games, and vocalist of Goatchild. Ryan, aka Chongo, who played Shadow in the Sonic Adventure 2 dub and makes really great mashup on his own channel, as well as the composer for Goatchild. Blue, who played Tails in Rouge in the dub, as well as streams on Twitch. Ava, who does stuff I don't really know. Kay, who also does stuff that I don't know. And Connor, who for the life of me I cannot track down on any social media to try and find out who they are now. But that's besides the point. You're probably wondering why I'm telling you about some old Let's Play channel that died 3 years ago after a cancelled D&D podcast campaign. Well, the ARG is canonically part of the D&D universe in that very podcast. Let's go through the ARG's history and try to find out what exactly went wrong and why it was cancelled. The owner of the Twitter account was Ryan, the DM of the campaign. He lately started the ARG to get more people interested in the campaign, along with him just always wanting to do one, and this was just a good opportunity for him. After a few tweets with no interactions on it, he posted the first code. A bunch of symbols that meant nothing to anyone. Ryan told me the symbols were just random symbols and weren't too hard to create. However, if you put two of them together... Are you kidding me? But then the fans in the Discord started trying to decode them. This includes me. I was one of the frontrunners in this ARG. The account had tweeted 3 codes by the time I solved the first code. I was looking at 5-letter words and saw hello, and that made the most sense, the first code. From there I managed to figure out that the second code was testing, since that made logical sense as well. The third code was the hardest so far. It had 28 symbols, some we'd never seen before, so it was just making logical connections to words with the limited letters we had. After we figured out it said, why are all these messages in code, we were able to establish a makeshift translation page with the 17 symbols we had decoded. From there, it was a waiting game until the next code dropped. We didn't have to wait too long though, as the next day we got our next coded post. It read, "This gem is quite fascinating. I wonder what we can make this sucker do," bringing our letter count to 20. We were only missing B, J, P, V, X, and Y. In regular fashion, the next day meant a new code. This one read, "Why am I craving custard all of a sudden?" This clue may sound random, but I assure you, it is an integral part of the next puzzle. Trust me. The next day, we got another code. I wonder if the thief can see these too. If you can, then just know that you will be found. Referring to the fact that the Twitter account started out with what I assume is Alex stealing the gem that sends these messages from an unknown character. At this point, we were only missing P, X, and Z. Ryan accidentally sent a message to the ARG chat about visual glitches in a stream. He then told us that a code with a P in it exists somewhere, which was a clear hint to us that we should look at the glitches happening in the stream. Luckily, someone caught them and they read, "I wonder where Rosario was going. I suppose he had someone to meet." Now this point we have to talk about the actual D&D stuff. Rosario was a joke character Ryan made when he made a joke about his band's album making a lot of money. He hired him as a butler or something. This is most relevant except for the fact that Rosario, the character, is reused in the prologue episode of the podcast. Now I had no idea why he was mentioned here. I thought maybe he was the one who originally had the gem that was sending out the messages, but that was baseless and just an assumption. I had the privilege of being able to ask Ryan a few questions about the ARG, and here's what we got to say about Rosario's involvement. Not exactly. If I recall correctly, and forgive me because this was a while back and, again, more off the cuff than it should have been, the code showed up on the livestream archive. I think it was meant as a bit of foreshadowing as to Rosario's involvement later in the plot with Simon. He wasn't related to any of the ARG stuff. The person who was sending the codes and who originally had the gem was actually Zip. Now that opens up a whole nother can of worms. Who is Simon? Well, I mentioned him about that, and he said, Simon is the guy in the second arc talking about Intel. Let's just continue the ARG story, and there'll be time for the lore at the end if I'm not too lazy to write it in. We proceeded to make a meme with the new B symbol, since the B emoji was a meme at the time. Anyway, the next code read, "This Spagoot's Round things that I found is really weird. It's like a retelling of what happened in real life by a bunch of nerds, establishing that the owner of the gem, Zip, had access to the internet through the gem." We got 2 codes 2 days later. After some research, I ventured toward an interesting conclusion. Apparently, if we enter a certain code, it'll make an entirely new universe, and that being said, it looks like the coded word doesn't exist yet, or rather it is yet to be revealed. Almost as if it's still being created, hinting towards a code slowly being posted to the Twitter or somewhere that we'd have to find. And find we almost didn't. Anyway, back to the chronological events. After a few days, we got this massive code. It read, "This gem has been dormant as of late. It's trying to gather energy to create some kind of new world. Its only output of power goes outside our dimension." That's new. Further foreshadowing the dimension creator. The next day, we got an even bigger code. The Poiwer word, made to open a new dimension, has already been told to all of you. It was simply hidden via the custard cipher. Find the mineral that this power word is named after through these sigils. This one included a typo, but it also included a hint at the very first roadblock we hit. The custard cipher. Told you it would make an appearance. A few days later, we got another code. Custard marks the beginning, custard marks the end, there's a mineral hidden in between them. Finding it will create a new dimension. Of course, adding to the custard mystery. After a lot of bad theories based on nothing more than intuition and a little help from Ryan, we had solved it. The word was tanzanite, since it was in a code in between the two codes containing custard. Or so we thought. Turns out it was actually hidden in a cipher, which should have been obvious. But whatever. We were officially stumped. Then after 11 days we got a mysterious code. It simply read /code, whatever that means. We thought we should add it on to the end of the last code we got, but that didn't yield results. We thought it was a coding or HTML thing, but nope, we had hit a roadblock. We were officially stumped for the first time. But then, 12 days later, we received the code that changed the course of history forever. It simply read, "How would this look in the address of a creator?" A person who was working on the ARG with me made the connection to a website address and a Tumblr feature where you can make custom URLs. So we put /code at the end of Ryan's Tumblr, and we got a post from all the way back in 2014. Oh hey, here's a code. You never know when you might see it. It's simple. Just take the letter after contraction, a contraction being like can't, will, or he's, and add it to that. The code starts with the word custard and ends with the word custard. So for example, he ate all that custard. So now you start looking for the code. I can't believe it. Is his stomach still working? Because I wouldn't actually doubt it if he's dead. Alright, we have to pump the custard. And boom, code's done. Out of him. The code is bad, and so on. Again, you never know when I might be using this code in some of my works, but it's good fun. So now we knew how to get the code. All that was left was finding all the contractions in between the two codes with custard in them. Ryan told me he came up with this code because he always planned to do an ARG at some point, and this was basically just planning ahead for that. When we found the contractions and used the cipher, the word we got was limestone. We'd done it. We were now back on the path to righteousness. But that wouldn't last long. On September 24th, we got a new code. 5 creations within a new universe titled Universe of the Mega Maker. Creation number 1 found at 104963. This referred to the new at the time Mario Maker inspired Mega Man Maker tool, Mega Maker. Try saying that 5 times fast. He had uploaded a level on there, with a code we had to find. I immediately downloaded the game and searched the level for the code. I continuously died, so I just downloaded the level and took it to the editor to search for it. Ryan didn't like this and he accused me of cheating, but no one else could find the code, so I believe I was justified in doing so. Anyway, let's continue. The creation of Mega Maker technically counted as creation of a new universe, so we had to wait a little bit for the next clue. In early November, the Twitter account was taken over by fan-favorite character from the campaign, Sunny Silas. Now, Sunny's takeover didn't wield any major lore updates or roadblocks, so I'm basically gonna skip right over it. The next day, we got a new code. It read, "I think I know why our friend can't use the gem, but I'll have to investigate other subjects." About a month later, we got a new code. The last universe was built from the framework of another. This time, let's try to construct a completely original universe, shall we? So, we're gonna be creating a brand new universe, huh? Interesting. The Twitter sent out a code telling us to send him things to add to the universe that was being built. Knowing Ryan was a fan of Rockruff, and Rockruff being my favorite Pokemon, I immediately said to add Rockruffs. Everyone else requested stuff too, but who cares? This is my video, I get to talk about me. People requested weird orbs and marble pillars. What the hell am I supposed to talk about there? Anyway, the universe creation was going great. But then tragedy struck. Tragedy struck again the second time. Good take. Later that month, Ryan tweeted onto his own account. Found some weird stuff on my Pony Island video. @AlexRodmanGold. You know anything about this? clearly signifying there was something hidden in his Let's Play video on Pony Island. I don't know if you remember that game, but it was a metagame and it had a lot of glitchy moments, so a code could be hidden anywhere in that video.
Except, no, I actually glossed over one code that was sent out. It read,
"Has anyone seen the message I sent out? I had meant to send it out for you all to see, but then that's when I saw the pony space. 54 seconds later, the message was gone entirely. It's probably still out there."
I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to guess where it is. Are you ready? Okay, go. Got it? I'll reveal the answer at the end of the next section. I, being on vacation and also a huge dumbass, missed this code somehow.
So I was stumped. I had hit another roadblock, and for some reason no one else seemed interested in the ARG anymore. No one checked the video. I was the only one who did. But I didn't know where to look. Months went by without any activity from the server because we were all too dumb to scroll up. Ryan reacted to the message that deciphered the clue with a 5 and a 4, but we missed the message and his small clue completely. Half a year later, I was still trying to find the code, but I never did. People discussed theories from time to time, but none of us were smart enough to literally just scroll up. Ryan wasn't helping us either. No more clues, nothing. Just completely dormant. That's what killed this ARG. Ryan never threw us another bone. That's not the only thing that caused his death at the ARG, however. There was another factor.
On October 25th, 2018, the Spagoots channel went live after not uploading for over a year. The livestream was titled, Spagoots Realm Send-Off Tell-All Discussion. It actually said in the Discord earlier that the Spagoots Realms D&D podcast was cancelled, and that was a huge blow for the ARG because obviously the two are very connected. So, it was also a huge blow personally because I was a huge fan of the podcast. It was one of the only podcasts that I'd ever get into. So if there was no Realms, there was no ARG. And if there was no ARG, there was no ARG. Are you sure that's what it said? Really? Okay, well, can we fix it? If there was no Realms, there was no ARG. If there was no ARG, we'd never find the Pony Island code. And the Pony Island code has never been found to this day.
That is, it was never found until late last year. On October 13th, 2019, I was feeling a little nostalgic for the ARG, so I decided to scroll through the old chat, and what did I find but the clue that solved the mystery once and for all. I read that and immediately went to Ryan's channel, after feeling like an idiot for a little bit, to find his Pony Island video. Skipped to 54 seconds in, and there it was, staring us right in the face. I quickly took out the translator page, since I no longer had the code memorized. I translated the message from the code to English letters, and it said, "The message we've been missing this whole time read,
Verpukige Kukif Hamoivvka." What the fuck?
I tried every letter scramble I know. Caesar, Atbash, Visionaire. Nothing worked. Of course, it probably was Visionaire, I just didn't have the keyword. I tried so many keywords, but nothing worked. And to this day, the code remains unsolved. Ryan also doesn't remember since it was so long ago, and everything he had on the ARG was on his old broken laptop. Ryan says that it was most likely a way to access a Terraria world, which would link us over to another Twitter account belonging to the owner of the gem, Zip. So that was it. The end of the ARG. He confirmed it. However, there was light at the end of the tunnel. 17 days after I found the old Pony Island code, Alex Rodman Gold tweeted a new code. This one had brand new symbols on it, a new language, and a cool purple color scheme. I thought that this was going to be the great return of the Spagoots ARG, but no. It was the first clue for Ryan's new ARG.
But to get that story, you'll have to subscribe and ring the bell to turn on notifications so you know when I upload that video. And if you want to get it early, pledge $3 to my Patreon. It's $3 a month, you get a role on my Discord server, and early access to all of my videos. Plus, you can always stop pledging anytime you want if my videos are bad. There's other pledge tiers too, like I read your name out in the credits, or you just have your name in the credits, and a more prominent role on my Discord server. But if you only want to pledge $1, you get a reward too. You get the role on my Discord server, and I would really appreciate even just $1. But with that, that's the end of the video. Bye! What? Why aren't we fading to black? Oh, you want the ARG plot, don't you? Fine. I'll tell you the ARG plot to the best of my ability. So it starts with Alex stealing the gem from Zip. Zip sends out codes to the gem. it leads us to creating a universe. The idea with that was that Ryan would make a game with all of the stuff that we suggested, those goddamn orbs and marble pillow, which would lead us to a small D&D session with Ryan, which would have been the coolest thing ever. Then Zib would create his own perfect universe, and that's where the next D&D campaign would take place. So there's your plot. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and now here's the real end of the video. Bye, for real this time.